Here we go. So the first one. There was twice that Krishna showed his universal form to his mother Yashoda. This universal form that he showed Yashoda is different from the universal form that was shown to Duryodhana and different to the one that was shown to Arjuna. Okay, this universal, so there was two, but the main one was when Krishna's boyfriends, they had some little fight with Krishna. So they went to Yashoda and they said, Mata, your son Krishna is eating dirt. Yashoda got angry. What are you, a street boy? Why are you eating dirt? And Krishna said, I haven't eaten dirt. My friends, they got mad at me, and so they're trying to get back. Yashoda said, come here. Let me see. Open your mouth. I want to see if you're eating dirt. So Krishna said, see. And then when she looked into Krishna's mouth, what did she see? The whole universe. Not only did she see the whole universe, she saw herself and Krishna in his mouth. Imagine. So Yashoda became bewildered because Yashoda doesn't know that Krishna is God. Yashoda just knows that Krishna is her son. She doesn't know anything else. But when she sees this, she becomes bewildered. And then she starts to offer prayers. Oh, this is too much. May Lord protect me. She's praying to Narayan because what she just saw was too much for her to comprehend. Okay, then we have the pastime of Damodar. Everybody say that Krishna, this Damodar pastime, took place on Diwali day. Previous to this day, Krishna and Balaram had been going to the neighbors, stealing butter, making a disturbance, pinching the babies, passing stool and urine on the floors of the neighbors. And the neighbors would come to Yashoda and say, your son Krishna and Balaram, they're very naughty. But they really didn't want to complain. They just wanted an excuse to come and see Krishna. So this was an excuse. So Yashoda was thinking on this Diwali day, why is my son going to the neighbors? Maybe he doesn't like the butter and yogurt that he's getting at home, and that's why he's going. So Yashoda decided, today I'm going to personally make the butter and yogurt. And Yashoda, she had special cows. Why? She's the wife of the king. Nanda Maharaj is in charge of the village. So obviously she's the wife. She's got to have something special. She can't be treated ordinary. That's something you should know, young men. When you have a wife, you have to make them feel special. Okay? Otherwise, life is going to be miserable. Always tell your wife, let her know that she's special. Then you will get everything you want. Trust me. That's why I have a successful marriage. Okay? Don't take the wife for granted. She's not a slave. You have to make her feel like a queen. Then you can get anything you want. Trust me. I have 40 years experience on this. So, Yashoda has special cows. And these cows are so special that they flavor the milk. It has a special flavor. So it was this butter and yogurt from those cows that Yashoda is churning on this Diwali day. So while she's churning, she's singing songs, but not Bollywood songs. She's singing songs which are describing Krishna's pastimes. Either she made the songs herself, or she had a professional poet put these pastimes of Krishna into writing. So Yashoda is churning and singing songs about Krishna. Krishna comes and indicates to his mother, I want your milk from your breast. Yashoda loves Krishna. She stops the churning, takes the child on her lap, and starts to feed him. And as she's feeding him, she's looking at Krishna's beautiful face, and she's so happy. Any mother who has had a child and has fed the child is beautiful, is it not? Beautiful experience. When the mother has the baby, money can't buy that. It's such a beautiful thing. So what to speak? She has Krishna. She doesn't know that Krishna is God, but she loves her Krishna. All of a sudden, she hears a noise in the kitchen. The milk is boiling over. That's a problem. Anyone who's had to clean up in the kitchen when the milk has boiled over, it's a lot of work. It's a mess. So Yashoda has to go take care of the boiling milk on the oven, on the stove. So she puts Krishna down. But Krishna is not finished. So Krishna is angry and he bites his lip and he has false tears in his eyes, and he takes a rock and he throws it and breaks the butter pot. And the butter and yogurt comes down. Krishna steps in it. Then, yes, Krishna is nonsense. Then Krishna starts to run away. But he has stepped in the butter and yogurt, so he's leaving footprints. And Krishna, at the bottom of his feet, has distinctive markings, not mendi, real markings. I was saying this last night in the temple. If anyone says they're Krishna, look at their feet. If all you see are cracks, they're not Krishna. They have to have all the markings and not mendi markings. Has to be the real markings. And if the person says, I'm God, and doesn't have that marking, slap on his face. Because he's imposter, cheater, rascal, fool, demon. The real God has those markings on his feet. So Yashoda takes care of the oven. She comes back, she sees the big mess. And she says, my child is very smart. After leaving this mess, he has gone away, fearing punishment. Yashoda pulls out the stick and she follows the footprints. Meanwhile, Krishna is standing on top of a wooden grinding mortar, and on the ceiling is a pot of yogurt or butter, and Krishna has his friends. Who is his friends? The monkeys. Yeah, you know this. You are very intelligent. Yeah. Very humble too. Very good. So, Krishna is like this, looking this way and that way, because he knows at any moment his mother's going to come. He's feeding the yogurt and butter to the monkeys. Yashoda turns the corner. Krishna goes, oh no! And he sees the stick. Oh, no one wants to get hit with the stick. That hurts. So Krishna jumps down and starts to run. Now Yashoda, she has big hips, full breast. She can't run so fast. So she's trying to capture Krishna, but Krishna's going this way and that way and this way. And he's really running. He's scared. He doesn't want to get whipped by the stick. Finally, Yashoda captures him, and Krishna is shaking. And in the song it says his pearl necklace shook. So he was physically shaking, and he was rubbing his eyes and crying, afraid. And Yashoda was thinking, well, if I use the stick that's too much punishment. It will have a bad reaction on Krishna's psychology, on his mind. So she threw the stick away. Very intelligent. The punishment must fit the crime. So this incident did not require a stick. So Yashoda said, but this child is so restless and I can't get my housework done. What am I going to do? So she decides to tie him up. And she's going to tie him up to the grinding mortar so that he won't do any more nonsense, because the child is restless. Come. So she gets some rope and she ties up Krishna. And when it's time to tie the final knot, it's 2 fingers too short. So she calls the servant, bring more rope. So the servant comes, more rope is added, but it's still 2 fingers too short. Bring more rope, So they bring more rope and more rope. And no matter how much rope they bring, it's still 2 fingers too short. Krishna is showing Yashoda something. Meanwhile, many of the neighbors come to see what's going on, and they start giggling because they can see that no matter how much rope Yashoda adds, it's still 2 fingers too short. Finally, Yashoda gives up. And when Yashoda gives up, then Krishna says, okay, now you can tie me up. So this incident is showing that you cannot tie up Krishna. You cannot capture Krishna. Other than, first of all, you can't tie him with ropes. Just like in the Mahabharata, Duryodhana and his brothers had a plan. They were going to kidnap Krishna, right? But what did Krishna do? He assumed a gigantic form, and their plans failed because nobody can capture Krishna. And this pastime is showing, and in the song it says, Bhakti Badham. Bhakti Badham means Krishna can only be bound by the ropes of love, not any other way, which we already mentioned. When I asked about Bhagavad Gita, you said the way to know Krishna is, the way to go to Krishna is, the way to see Krishna is. Good. Bhakti is the answer to every question in Bhagavad Gita. Bhakti, either Bhakti or Krishna. Any question in Bhagavad Gita, if you say Krishna, you're right. So this pastime is showing everyone you cannot tie up Krishna with rope, because rope is usually used to understand the modes of nature, guna. The modes of nature, sattva, rajas, tamas, goodness, passion, and ignorance, they are rope. We are bound by ropes. We are actually prisoners, either of goodness, passion, and ignorance. If you're in ignorance, you're totally bound. If you're in passion, not so much. And goodness, you have the most freedom. But you're still bound. You're still tied up by those ropes. But when you're liberated, now there's no more ropes. And what to speak of Krishna? He can never be tied up or bound. So only if Krishna agrees, and that's the point. When Krishna saw that Yashoda was so exhausted from trying to tie him up, then Krishna said, okay, I'm now going to let you tie me up. Why? Because Yashoda has vimukti. This is the term Shukadeva Goswami uses. Vimukti. And Shukadeva Goswami, I don't say, Shukadeva Goswami says, so don't get mad at me now. I'm going to say something. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at Shukadeva Goswami, okay? Shukadeva Goswami says this Yashoda is so elevated, She's more liberated than Lord Brahma, more liberated than Shiva, more liberated than Lakshmi. Don't get mad at me. Hey. Shukadeva Goswami says, Yashoda has vimukti, special liberation. What is that liberation? She gets to be Krishna's mother. Again, no applications being accepted. We cannot become Yashoda. The post is already taken by Yashoda. That is the meaning of vimukti, special liberation. Krishna chooses Yashoda. So Krishna is now tied up, and Yashoda goes back to her house chores. That's another point. Even if you're the mother of God, you still have to work. No vacation for the mother of God. She has to churn butter. She has to do the dishes. She has to do the cooking. So husbands, now you know what to say to your wives when she doesn't want to do something. Hey, even Yashoda has to work. Okay? So, I always like making that point. Because you would think the mother of God sits back and watches TV, bring me Limca, turn on Bollywood. No, the mother of God has to make butter, has to cook. Yes, every day Yashoda is assisted by Radharani and the gopis, and they make a big breakfast for Krishna. Radharani comes, and all the gopis come, and Yashoda is giving orders. Okay, you make this. Hey, you make this. She's like the big queen. And she also herself, and in the morning, Krishna doesn't eat much. So Yashoda has to sit there and say, hey, Krishna, come on. You have to eat. Come on, eat this. I made this thing so tasty. You have to eat. And Krishna gives most of his food to his friend Madhu Mangal, who loves to eat. He's my idol, Madhu Mangal, see? Madhu Mangal is a chubby Brahmin boy, and when Yashoda's not looking, Krishna goes like this. Whatever Yashoda puts on his plate, Krishna goes and puts it on, and Madhu Mangal goes, yeah, give me more. Krishna's not hungry in the morning. So, Krishna is tied up to the grinding mortar, and he looks out into the courtyard, and he sees two trees. And Krishna goes, oh yeah, I know about those two trees. My devotee Narada cursed the two sons of Kuber, Manigriva and Nalakuvra. They did nonsense, those two sons of Kuvera. And my devotee Narada cursed them, and he wants me to deliver them. So Krishna starts to crawl. And as he's crawling, he pulls the wooden grinding mortar. And he crawls right between the two trees. The grinding mortar gets stuck, and effortlessly, not that Krishna's, no, effortlessly, he passes through. The grinding mortar knocks down the two trees. Out come two dazzling demigods. And for 100 years they have been meditating and waiting for this day, because Narada told them that I'm going to curse you to become trees, but Krishna will deliver you. So they have been waiting, and when they come out, they pray to Krishna, we simply want to be your devotees. So then Krishna says, very good, you can go back now to your father, but stay as my devotee. So that's, okay, now the next pastime. She's given me a whole list. Whew. Everybody chant Hare Krishna. Okay, so the next pastime, Brahma steals the boys and the calves. And this ties in with also the chapter of Brahma offering prayers. So one day, see, every day after breakfast, Krishna and all his cowherd boys, they go out to the pasture, and they spend the whole day taking either the calves or the cows, And they're playing, but they're also taking care of the calves or cows, depending on their age. The calves and cows simply eat the grass. And the cowherd boys and Krishna's play. That's how they spend their day. Even Krishna has to go to work. Even God has to go to work. And when his parents say, oh, we're going to miss you, Krishna said, what are you talking about? I have to do my work. I have to do my prescribed duties. He's preaching Bhagavad Gita to his parents. I have to do my prescribed duty. So don't worry about me. Let me go. So on this day, the mothers made lunches for their sons. There's hundreds and hundreds of cowherd boys who go with Krishna. So each mother made a special lunch for her son. But they're young boys. At this age, Krishna is 5. So as they're going into the forest, they start to take each other's lunch basket and give it to somebody else. And then when the guy goes, no, and they keep passing all their lunch baskets to the other. And also, when they see the frogs, they act like frogs and they make frog sounds. Or when they see peacocks, they follow it. They're just playing as young boys would. Or when they go to a cave, they call into the cave and they make nasty words. Hello, hello, hello. And they hear the echo. They're playing like young boys play. Finally, they get to the spot where Krishna says, I think this is a good place where we can have our lunch today. This looks like a good spot. And by this time, everybody has their own lunch basket from their mother. Everything has been arranged. Everything's back to normal. So the calves are tied up and they're grazing on the grass. And all the cowherd boys and Krishna, they're sitting in this place. And Krishna's in the middle. And he's surrounded by all the hundreds and hundreds of cowherd boys. But even though Krishna is sitting in the middle, everyone is seeing that Krishna is looking at him. Even the ones behind. That means Krishna did a miracle. Because I'm looking at you, I'm not looking at over here. But if I was Krishna, even if I look at you, you'd be thinking, oh, Narantar's looking at me. That's what Krishna did. One Krishna surrounded, but each boy is seeing Krishna's looking at me. Wow, Krishna must like me. He's looking at me. Meanwhile, they notice that the calves have wandered off. So Krishna, he's such a nice God. Krishna says to the cowherd boys, don't worry. You stay and continue eating. I will go and get the calves. What a nice God. Not that, I am the supreme God. Go, you slaves, and get... No. Krishna's nice. Krishna says, you keep eating, I'll get the calves. So Krishna starts to look for the calves, but he can't find them. So he's like, where did the calves go? So he comes back to where the cowherd boys are. They're missing too. What's going on? And then Krishna says, this must be the work of Lord Brahma. He's trying to play a trick on me? I'll show him. He doesn't know that I'm his master. So Krishna is saying, how can I go back home without the cowherd boys and calves? The mothers will have a broken heart. You can imagine if you got a phone call from the police, your son is missing. You would go mad, wouldn't you? Right. Or if you got a call, your child was abducted. That's not going to happen. I'm just trying to I'm not cursing you. Don't. But you would be she would call you from work. Prabhu, he's not come home. Come home right now. Come on. You'd be in total anxiety. So Krishna knows that he cannot go back to Vrindavan without the cowherd boys. So what does Krishna do? Expands himself. And he expands himself to look like every cowherd boy and calf, down to the minutest detail. I think we could turn the light on, you think? Talk about cloning. Krishna duplicates himself to look like each and every cowherd boy and calf, to the exact clothes they were wearing, facial, personality, everything. And they go back home. Because the original cowherd boys and calves are sleeping in a cave because they were stolen by Lord Brahma. For 1 whole year, this masquerade is going on. And nobody can figure out. All they know is something has changed. The parents and the cows love these versions of their sons and calves more than the real ones. But they don't know. To them, it's their boy and their calf, but they have more affection. Why? Because actually Krishna is everyone's most lovable object. After almost 1 year, even Balaram didn't figure it out, and he's God. Imagine, even he couldn't figure it out, which means if Krishna doesn't want Balaram to know something, that's why we said the Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Paramaha Krishna. So he kept this even from Balaram. So one day, Balaram was with Krishna because this incident of Brahma stealing the boys and calves took place on Balaram's birthday. He was not in the forest. When the cowherd boys went on picnic, Balaram was home getting ready for his birthday party. So that's why he wasn't there. So after almost 1 year, at the top of Govardhan Hill, the cowherd men were taking care of the cows, and the cowherd boys were at the bottom of Govardhan Hill taking care of the calves. All of a sudden, the cows start running down the side of Govardhan Hill like this, with their feet like this. They're bounding down. The cowherd men are going, what is this? They're very angry because they've lost control of the cows. But when the cows come down, they start licking the bodies of their calves, which is very unusual because these were old cows and this kind of display was unusual. But they're licking the body, and when the men come down, they're angry. But when they see their sons, they start crying. They start smelling their son's head. That's the most beautiful feeling, to smell. Like when I had my young grandson, I used to always smell his head. Such a beautiful feeling, smelling the head of the young child. So Balaram is looking at this. The men are crying, the cows are licking. Balaram looks at Krishna, what's going on here? What is this? So Krishna said, okay, I'll tell you what happened. So Krishna explained to Balaram what was going on for almost 1 year. Meanwhile, in Brahma's calculation, a year on earth is only that much. For Brahma, this is 1 year on earth. Just like for the demigods, a day in the heavenly planets is 1 year on earth, because the time calculation is different. And for Brahma, 1 year is that much, nanosecond. So Brahma, now, after this, Krishna and his clones, the cowherd boys and calves, they go back to the site So Brahma has just come. He thinks all the cowherd boys and calves are in the cave. He comes back to the scene of the crime and sees all the cowherd boys and calves. Wait. I thought I just put... Brahma becomes bewildered because he has just stolen them and now they're back again. Then, right before Brahma's eyes, the cowherd boys and calves turn into Narayan. Because these were all Krishna's expansions. Krishna's expansion is known as Narayan. So Brahma is like this. All the cowherd boys and calves turn into these huge Narayan forms, and Brahma feels like this. And he's like, oh my God. And then the whole scene is taken away, and the original cowherd boys and calves are brought back to the scene. And meanwhile, Krishna is standing by a tree, just nonchalant, and Brahma with his four heads, he comes over, he's crying, and Brahma's body is golden, and he does dandavat. Not, you know how they do, not dandavat. No. He actually goes down, not just says dandavat. When I first went to India in 1975, it was Air India. So all the stewardess were saying dandavat, dandavat. But they did not bow down. But Brahma actually went down like a rod. He fell. And he was crying. His four heads were crying. And he stood up and he offered beautiful prayers to Krishna, begging him, please forgive my nonsense. I tried to play a trick on you, but I should have known better. You are the supreme. You are the master. And Brahma's prayers, he goes into great detail. And the way he asks forgiveness, he says, you're my father. How are you my father? Because I came from your expansion, Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Garbhodakshai Vishnu is your expansion, so I'm your son. So the parent should not be so mad at the son, even if the son does something nonsense. You please forgive me. And then at the end of Brahma's prayers, Brahma says, anyone who thinks they know about Krishna, let them think like that. As far as I'm concerned, I don't understand anything about this Krishna. And then Brahma said, I want to take my next birth as a lump of grass or creeper or a bush in Vrindavan, because these inhabitants of Vrindavan, they love you, Krishna, with no reservations. I want to get the dust of their feet on my head. So I just want to take birth as a bush so that when the gopis and the gopas come, they'll stir up the dirt and I'll get the dust of their feet on my head. And then Krishna says, okay, Brahma, you're forgiven. Go back and be Brahma. And that's the end of that pastime. All right, Govardhan Hill is the next one. Everybody chant the Maha Mantra.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Okay, so once upon a time, as all good stories start, Krishna's father Indra and the cowherd men, they were arranging for a sacrifice to Indra. This is a yearly thing. Just like today you have some special function, what's it called? Right, the women fast for the husband's benefit. It goes on every year, right? So, this is a yearly thing. So Krishna is said he wanted to make Indra mad. He had an intention. I want to make Indra mad. So Krishna asks his father, Father, what is this big arrangement going on? What's going on? So Nanda Maharaj says, oh, we are cowherd men and we live by the cows, and the cows need to eat nice grass, And in order for there to be nice grass, we need rain. Indra is in charge of the rain. So we should worship Indra so he will be merciful and give us rain. So Krishna starts to speak an atheistic philosophy known as karma mimamsa. His purpose is twofold. He wants to make Indra angry, and he wants his father not to do the sacrifice. So he tells his father a kind of atheistic philosophy. Krishna says, "My dear father, you're saying that Indra sends the rain? But Indra is not very intelligent, because he pours rain on the ocean and it's not needed there. He puts rain in places that are not necessary." And then he says, "And by the way, you're not going to be successful in your endeavors unless you do your work, unless you do your job. Even if there is a God, you still have to do your work." So Krishna was saying we should not be so concerned about Indra. We should only be concerned with doing our work. And then Nanda Maharaj said to Krishna, no, this is a tradition. We have to do this. And Krishna says, no, I think we should do a sacrifice because our real business is with the cows and Govardhan Hill. That is how we are existing. So Krishna tells his father, rather than worship Indra, we should simply worship the cows and Govardhan Hill. So Nanda Maharaj says, well, I'll tell you what. Let us first do the sacrifice for Indra. Then we can do this worship of Govardhan Hill. Krishna says, no. There's not enough time, not enough money. Don't do the Indra puja. We're just going to worship Govardhan Hill, the Brahmins and the cows. So Nanda Maharaj gives in. Why? Because in Vrindavan, everyone loves Krishna. So Krishna convinces his father not to worship Indra. And they do the worship of Govardhan Hill. They worship the cows. And then they circumambulate, and Krishna tells them to make a big feast. And he describes the foods: ladus, rasgullas, halava, rice, sabji, pakora, no tacos, no burgers. No. He's very exact of what he wants to be offered. And he says the food should be, everybody should be fed. Even the animals should be fed. Even the outcasts. Everyone should be fed on this day. And then when they're circumambulating Govardhan Hill, Krishna assumes a huge form. And he says, I myself am Govardhan Hill. And separately, Krishna himself is with the cowherd boys and the cowherd men, circumambulating and worshiping himself in this big form of Govardhan, because this big form of Govardhan is eating all the offerings. And so Krishna himself is participating, even though he's manifested a huge form of himself as Govardhan Hill. So they're having a big festival. Meanwhile, up in the heavens, Indra is angry, steaming angry. Who is this over-talkative child? He has stopped my worship. Nanda Maharaj is taking advice from this 7-year-old over-talkative child. He calls for the clouds of destruction. Sangvartaka! Sangvartaka! And they're afraid. I guess they knew about Krishna because they didn't want, but Indra said, come, I want you to destroy Vrindavan. Go now. I will also come on my elephant with my thunderbolt. We are going to destroy Vrindavan because they have made me angry. I am Indra. So, for 7 days and 7 nights, rain, and ice cold winds, and hail, and thunder, and the residents of Vrindavan, they see the water is rising. So what do? They don't call 911. They call Krishna. They all go to Krishna. You save us. So what does Krishna do? With his little finger of his left hand, he lifts the Govardhan hill. And he says, now you have an umbrella. Come. You have a question?
If there's such heavy rains and if there's a flood, wouldn't they go under?
I guess Krishna protected them. See, you would think like that, but when Krishna is there, these things are adjusted. So somehow or other they didn't get flooded. I guess everywhere else, but not under Govardhan Hill. Krishna adjusted things. Make sense? Yeah, if you understand that Krishna can do anything, Achintya Shakti, the inconceivable potency, but that means you're thinking, that means you're paying attention. Very good. So for 7 days, Krishna is holding up Govardhan Hill effortlessly. Not that he's like struggling. Balaram, can you take over? No. 7 days he's holding up. After 7 days, Indra realizes, uh-oh, I've been defeated. So Indra tells the rains, all right, stop. The water goes down. Everything becomes nice and calm. Krishna tells everybody, now you can go back. He puts down the hill exactly where it was supposed to be. And Indra comes along with a Surabhi cow. We talked about that. Wish-fulfilling cow. And Indra comes and he starts to beg forgiveness from Krishna. And Indra says, yes, I am a rascal. I didn't understand who you were. And you please forgive me for my impudence. And then Krishna says to Indra something very instructive. Krishna says, Indra, you should know one thing. I am the one who is allowing you to be Indra. And if I don't want you to be Indra, you're gone. So Indra, you can go back and be Indra, but don't be puffed up. And then Krishna said, I can take away anyone's opulence at any time. If I see that somebody is not behaving properly, I can take away everything from them. So Indra, you go back, you be Indra, but don't be proud. Remember, you're my servant. So Indra came with his elephant, and his elephant in the trunk, he carries Ganga. So they did the Abhishek of Krishna. And the Surabhi cow came, and she bathed Krishna with her milk. And it was here, this pastime, that Indra and Surabhi said, Krishna, you are now Govinda. So everybody say, this is where in the Leela, he always has that name, but in the drama of the pastimes, this is where Krishna is awarded the name. What's the name? Govinda. One who gives pleasure to the cows, the transcendental senses, and the land of Vrindavan, Govinda. All right, got 3 more to go. This is what you want, right? All right. Everybody chant the Maha Mantra.